I'm Catherine Greenhill and I work in the library at Murdoch University in Perth, Western Australia. This is Discover a Tomorrow, who owns an island in Second Life on behalf of Murdoch University in Western Australia. I'm going to talk about why our university is owning an island and what we're doing there. First, I'm going to backtrack a bit to a clip that I made back in June 2007 called Murdoch University Library Gets a Second Life. It talks about how the library rented land in March 2007 and we ran a couple of workshops about creating and doing more with your avatar for the university community. I explained how the library wasn't setting up a reference desk there for all our hundreds of users who will come into Second Life, but rather we're using it as a chance to educate our community about a new information tool for them to work out whether it's got applicability to their educating. I outlined the rationale, some of the activities we did on the plot, and some of the challenges of running workshops within Second Life from a university library. At the end of that clip, I was talking about how the Second Life Interest Group was just about to have its first meeting. We did meet. Over 3 or 4 meetings, several projects came up that would be useful if Murdoch University had its own island. Things like theatrical set design, interviews for clinical psychology students, forensic science experiments, making a job interview simulation, making a presence so that potential students could see what Murdoch University was all about. As a result of these potential projects, we sought and obtained funding to buy our own island within Second Life. The project is run by 4 parts of the university: the library, the Teaching and Learning Centre, our Corporate Information Technology, and the School of Information Technology. The management group meets once a month and administers the finance and guidelines for the project. We have university guidelines about use of online virtual worlds. We say that we encourage this for exploring educational possibilities. We say that people who are doing so are expected to remember the good name and reputation of the university and not do anything to compromise this. They're also advised to abide by the community standards of the world that they're in and basically not to do anything stupid there. If they want to do stupid stuff, they can do it in their own avatar, in their own time, but not if they're studying or working on behalf of Murdoch University. Anyone using university property in Second Life or getting funding via Linden Dollars from the university for projects is expected to give a report outlining what they're using the land for, just so that the management group knows what's going on. We've got 4 main uses for the island at the moment. We're still running library workshops and they're still well attended. We've got a safe space for people who want to experiment with building within Second Life. The island at the moment isn't open to the public, so our university members are able to come in and be assured that they're not going to be disturbed by anybody else. They can, of course, explore outside our island into general Second Life. We're also learning best practice management for running an online virtual environment in an educational institution. The last use is for student projects in information technology. I'm going to talk about a few of those. In second semester last year, we had 6 ICT 333 students complete project work within Second Life. What they did is made a job interview simulation for students who were studying in a teaching and learning unit called From University to Work. Students would log on as an avatar. They would go to a building created by the ICT students where they'd have to choose the appropriate outfit to wear for their interview. They'd then walk through some lovely lush gardens to another building where they were greeted by a secretary who was set up as a non-playing character who would direct them towards another room in a rather posh looking kind of office. The person controlling the avatar would be wearing a headset, as would the people who were doing the interview in the room. And so a job interview would progress just as it would over the phone or in person. The idea was that the surroundings were unfamiliar and they were to make the heart beat a bit faster in the way that it would with a real job interview. The unit controller, Dr. Julia Hobson, and Dorrit Maher from Education combined to survey the students to find out how effective the environment was for learning. What they did is they showed the students an outline and information about Second Life before they went in for their virtual interview and asked them whether they thought it was a useful environment for learning. Once they'd completed their virtual interview, they asked them again, how useful was it for learning. And they found that once they'd been in Second Life, their perceptions changed and they found it a lot more useful than they had initially before they'd gone into Second Life. Even those students who said they wouldn't try it again did say they'd recommend it to their fellow students. Every one of them said that they'd recommend it to their fellow students. In semester 1 this year, we've had another 6 students from the same unit working with an academic from chemistry on a murder role-play environment. Way above Murdoch University Island is a skybox with a city street. It's used for ethically doing murder role-plays. The IT student's job is to find a way to stream a role-play from within Second Life out onto the web so people who aren't in Second Life can see what's happening. They're also working on creating an object that records trace evidence from any avatar who touches it. That way, when people come to investigate the murder scene, there's some kind of simulation and clues as there would be with a normal murder scene. In semester 1 this year, we've also got an ICT student who's very good with both design and computing, who's redesigning our island layout as part of an independent study contract into Second Life. She's making mountains and waterfalls and putting native vegetation onto the island. From managing the island, we've learned a few things. One of them is about building. We've found out that you should really make sure you're using an avatar associated and owned by your organisation if any building happens on your land. The first lot of students that came through, they did their building on avatars they'd created themselves, and so we wouldn't have been able to renovate that end of the island. We could have sent all the stuff back to them, but we couldn't really move and manipulate it in the same way. So it's very important to make sure that the avatars doing the building are actually owned by the organisation. Luckily, the students were extremely nice and they gave us their avatars at the end of the project. Another thing we've learned is to separate the admin island owner avatar from the finance avatar. So we have an avatar set up specially just to buy and give out Linden dollars. So only one person has access to the credit card details for buying Linden dollars. It's really important too to get somebody who knows about design in. We could have done it ourselves and the bits that we've done look okay, but when somebody has a design eye and a keenness to do stuff, it makes a big difference to the island. It's also important to make sure you know how to use permissions well. We thought we'd blocked everybody out from building because we'd stopped people from going into an area. When we opened up the island for just 1 minute, somebody flew in. We thought they were locked out, but they managed to build and create a giant mountain because we hadn't turned building off in an area, even though that person couldn't fly in. So we've double-checked that now. For the future of the project, we hope to have other IT students doing projects on the island. We're certainly continuing the workshop classes from the library as well. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the island and with online virtual worlds in the future. Growth certainly has slowed from the rapid pace it was at the start of 2007. However, there's still 65,000 people on at any one time, which is a critical mass enough to make experiments with education. It seems that as the commercial interest in trying to make a buck out of Second Life has waned, there's been more educator interest. I'm happy we've done this project because it's given us all sorts of questions to ask about how you manage online virtual worlds and some of these new social networking tools that are happening. So whatever happens, it's still going to be interesting. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, k.greenhill@murdoch.edu.au.